is a place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know that when we seek, we find. We place our trust in this great holiness. This sacred space is yours and mine. We are walking into light, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracle inside.
We begin by acknowledging that we are in the traditional and unceded territory of the Nanaimo Nation here in Nanaimo. And since we're serving all of Vancouver Island, please be conscious of the traditional people in the area where you live, and just be grateful for the care they have taken of the land and the teaching that they are giving us in that regard. So you are welcome here. Welcome back. Welcome back in person. Welcome back online. And if you're with us for the first time, know that no matter where you've been on your spiritual journey, you are welcome in this place. So let's do some singing, Ken. Stand if you wish.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what my life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smile. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smile. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smile. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Nice to have the backup. One more. everyone tuning to a different key. But we are all playing in harmony in one great symphony. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together together in love. A moment ago we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me greets the Christ in thee. In one great family weave us together in love. Weave us together in love.
Now, as we recognize the truth in the words we have just sung, we are all one family, and it isn't our intention to work in unity to bring this whole world into harmony and unity. And so we come together knowing that together we are more powerful, that our word is strong. And we commit to speaking our word and to acting on our word, to build a life for ourselves of love and joy and prosperity and kindness, and to pass that on to everyone we meet. And so we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, support, and love. And so it is. So it's time for Words for Wisdom. And after last week with Rick Scott, I don't know who was here, but man, I said to myself, what on earth am I going to do next week? How do I follow that? Well, what I'm good at is some theater stuff. And some of you know that I have a friend in theater, Reverend Trudy. So I asked Reverend Trudy if she would come this week to share her words of wisdom. So just a minute, I'll go get her. I understand there's some crazy people here. Now, I don't ever want to sound negative about going crazy. I don't want to over-romanticize it either, but frankly, going crazy is the best thing ever happened to me. I don't say it's for everyone. Some people couldn't cope. But for me, it came along at a time when nothing else seemed to be working. I got the kind of madness Socrates talked about. A divine release of the soul from the yoke of custom and convention. I refuse to be intimidated by reality anymore. After all, what is reality anyway? Nothing but a collective hunch. My space chumps think reality was once a primitive method of crowd control that got out of hand. To me, it's absurdity dressed up in a three-piece business suit. I made some studies, and reality is the leading cause of stress amongst those in touch with it. Oh, I can take it in small doses, but as a lifestyle, it's too confining, too needful. Expected me to be there for it all the time. With all I got to do, I had to let something go. Now, since I put reality on the back burner, my life is jam-packed and fun-filled. Like some days I love to do this old trick. I hang out down on Commercial Street, and I wait till some music-loving tourist from one of the big hotels comes up and asks, how do I get to the Port Theater? And then I run up and I yell, practice! The expression on people's faces is priceless. I never could have done that when I was in my right mind. I was always afraid people to think I was crazy. You see, the human mind is kind of like a piñata. Once it breaks open, it's full of surprises inside. And once you get the piñata perspective, you can see that losing your mind can be a peak experience. I guess it better go now and let Ken sing another song.
Oh, never mind. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more forward, no more backward, no more spinning around and around. My life is moving ever upward. My feet are leaving the ground. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more downward, no more darkness, no more wondering the point of it all. My life is destined, hope for greatness. My soul has answered the call. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place.
Thank you, Ken and Nico. Hot music this morning, huh? Good song. So, reality, fact, fiction, and fantasy. I started out with the question, what's the difference between reality and fiction? And the answer is that fiction has to make sense. You can sell a novel or a biography or a screenplay if it makes sense, right? You can't sell it if it don't make sense. But it seems that you can see reality the best when you make it really, really stupid. Yeah? Ever watch those so-called reality shows on TV? Some of them are so far from making sense, it's impossible to fathom. And they really don't seem to relate very much to reality. For instance, who in reality actually gets to try out 25 potential mates on international TV? So what is the difference between reality and fiction? Well, I think it's whatever you make of it. I had a friend once who drank a lot of beer, way too much beer. And he thought that the fact that he only drank beer meant that he couldn't be an alcoholic, although he readily admitted to being a drunk. What's the difference? He said the drunk doesn't have to go to all those damn meetings. So there's a whole bunch of what's the different jokes online. Most of them were pretty silly and contrived, but there's a couple I liked. What's the difference between ignorance and apathy? I don't know, and I don't care. One doesn't know, one doesn't care, same diff. So sometimes it's really hard to tell reality from fantasy, fact from fiction, especially when we consider that we're making it all up anyway. And that's one of the main teachings we have here, isn't it? We are making up our lives as we go along. But all that we make up is very real when we're experiencing it, is it not? So reality is defined as the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. And the definition of a fact is a thing that is known or proved to be true. So facts and reality should therefore be the same for everybody by those definitions, shouldn't they? But are they? If you have an automobile accident and there are 6 witnesses and you interview them, how many stories do you get? 6 different stories. Because we all see through our own filter and see differently. And of course, facts and reality are restricted to the physical, material world. And that's where we live. And they're helpful to us. They're useful for helping us to cope with the real world. But again, that real world is simply what we have made up, yes? Together. So fiction and fantasy, what's the difference between them? Well, fiction is an invention of our minds, a fabrication, a pretense, a lie, if you will. And it's often based on reality, fiction. So if you write a fiction novel, it might very well be a variation of the story of your life, right? But fantasy is quite different, and I quote Mr. Webster. The faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. That's the power of our imagination, one of the 12 spiritual powers that Charles Fillmore theorized that we all possess, the power of imagination. So fantasy, as compared to fiction, is as visioning compared to visualization. So visualization is active. It's using your imagination to make things up in your mind and seeing what you want is already manifest in the material world. That's what visualization is for, and that's a very good thing to do. But visioning is different. It's receptive, passive. It's receiving the vision from spirit, divine mind, your higher wisdom, whatever you choose to call it. It's using our power of imagination to work with spirit. Again, one of our 12 powers. It always amazes me when people say, oh, it's only your imagination. I say, only? Only? Our imagination is where it all came from. Because all growth and change comes about through either visualizing or by vision. By either speaking your desires into the universal power or being open to what wants to unfold. And sometimes we get our desire, and sometimes we get something else. Sometimes it's a lot better. And that's why a lot of people, when they do their prayer or their treatment, end with, this or something better I accept. There was a great example in an elderly nun who passed away, and when she arrived at the pearly gates, she had one desire. She wanted to meet the Virgin Mary. And she had been a very good nun, so she was granted her wish, and the Virgin Mary came up and she greeted her with, "You have inspired me my whole life. I have collected all your portraits, painted by every artist, but I've always wondered one thing. In every one, you always look so sad. So please tell me, Mary, Mother of God, Blessed Virgin, there you are with this beautiful baby who is to become a teacher of millions of people, whose name is revered around the world. Why weren't you smiling?" And she said, "Oh, sister, I really wanted a girl." See, sometimes Spirit has something better in mind for us. So the remainder of my talk today is going to be a series of quotes from the American astronomer Carl Sagan. And Thomas spoke about him a couple of weeks ago. Remember, he advised turning the the telescopes around and taking a picture of Earth from space, that pale blue dot in a vast universe. And it's surprising that many scientists often are also philosophers. So he said some very wise things, and I'm going to give you. This one really struck me. He says, how is it that hardly any major religion has looked at science and concluded, this is better than we thought. The universe is much bigger than our prophet said, grander, more subtle, more elegant. Instead, they say, no, my God is a little God, and I want him to stay that way. A religion older knew that stressed the magnificence of the universe as revealed by modern science might be able to draw forth reserves of reverence and awe hardly tapped by the conventional faiths. And I think unity and the New Thought movement come very close to doing that. We've moved our understanding from that of a flat earth, like a flat plate with a dome above it, and God above the dome and eternal fire underneath. We've moved away from that, and we understand the divine now as a presence, as a power, as infinite. And it's the acceptance of the scientific discoveries and thought that has encouraged us to do that. Do we have more to learn? Yeah, I think so. And certainly, but for me, that draws forth that reverence and awe, thinking about the infinite in that way. How about you? Yeah. Next quote from Sagan. Skeptical scrutiny is the means in both science and religion by which deep thoughts can be winnowed from deep nonsense. We are always called upon to use our inner wisdom, another of our 12 powers, to discern that. We use our wisdom to find balance, to be open to new ways without being gullible. Sagan says, it pays to keep an open mind, but not so open your brains fall out. But that is the law of the universe as we teach it, the law of mind action, which is simply 3 words, mind, idea, manifestation. The universe doesn't judge our requests, it just responds. The law operates the way it operates, without judgment, without trying to change anything, just responding. So the universe, or universal mind, is often another term we sometimes use instead of the word God. And that is thoroughly consistent with our teaching. The divine has no favorites. It does not care who wins the football game. It doesn't like one team better than another. It doesn't like one country better than another. It doesn't judge. It merely responds to us, to our intentions, to our expectations, individually and collectively. Sagan said, reality may be puzzling. It may take some time to work to grapple with it. It may be counterintuitive. It may contradict deeply held prejudices. It may not be consonant with what we desperately want to be true. But our preferences do not determine what's true. Well, yes and no. Eric Butterworth said it. He said, you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. Yeah? So I agree that our preferences don't determine what's true, at least not in the scientific, fact-based sense. But there are a couple of things he said that makes me think he might be willing to entertain the notion that maybe our preferences sometimes do determine a little bit what's true for us, and where your truth may be different from my truth. He said, imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were. But without it, we go nowhere. Isn't it strange for a scientist to say that we can go to worlds that don't exist? There is infinite, undreamed of potential that we can only discover with our imagination. The impossible becomes possible that way. See, the impossible is only impossible until it gets done, and then it's possible. He said, somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known. How does he know that? Could it be that somewhere where something incredible is waiting to be known is in universal mind, waiting for us to tap into it, discovering that something incredible? Discovering, to my mind, that something incredible might be the power of love. If we really tapped into it, we might get it. Sagan says, we are privileged to live in and if we are lucky, to influence one of the most critical epochs in the history of the human species. We are at the only point in history when we have the opportunity to intentionally take part in the direction and speed of our evolution. Intentionally, we can direct our evolution, or devolution. We've arranged a civilization in which most crucial elements profoundly depend on science and technology. He's right about that. And at this time, we are making critical choices for the future of our world and our species. And that is where our power is. It's funny, Charles Fillmore said one of our powers is the power of power. And I said, huh? But that's it for me, the power of power. He wasn't kidding. We have choices to be made. We need to balance our intuitive knowing with what we have learned from science. Sagan quipped, we tend not to be especially critical when presented with evidence that seems to confirm our prejudices. And I don't think he's too fond of creationists. Regarding the creationist versus evolution theory, he says, I would rather be a transformed ape than a degenerate son of Adam. I love this one. Intellectual capacity is no guarantee against being dead wrong. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're right. He said, I think if we ever reach the point where we think we thoroughly understand who we are and where we came from, we will have failed. Some things just unknowable. Listen to this. You've probably said something like this yourself. If God is omnipotent and omniscient, why didn't he start the universe out in the first place so it would come out the way he wants? Why is he constantly repairing and complaining? No, there's one thing the Bible makes clear. The biblical God is a sloppy manufacturer. He's not good at design. He's not good at execution. He'd be out of business if there was any competition. And isn't this the first question a spiritual seeker usually starts to ask? Everybody's trying to find out those existential questions. Like, who are we? Why are we here? Where did we come from? And we come to realize that there are things that are unknowable and unfathomable to us, at least while we're in human form. Like the divine, we can only surmise. So we tend to make up answers and create a doctrine around that and create a religion around that, rather than being willing to sit with the unknowing. Again from Sagan, in science, it often happens that scientists say, that's a really good argument. My position is mistaken. And then they would actually change their minds, and you never hear the old view again. They really do it. It doesn't happen as often as it should because scientists are human, and change is sometimes painful, but it happens every day. I cannot recall the last time something like that happened in politics or religion. Aren't you glad this is where you are? Here we can change our minds. We can think differently. We're open at the top. We can be willing to move beyond. We can even be willing to think a little crazy, be a little bit of an oddball, to be sneered at and laughed at. Some people sneer and laugh at our convictions, our conviction that we are one with the divine and therefore creators of our life experiences on some level. Let them laugh. Many great people and great ideas have been laughed at because they were before their time. We need to stand our ground, but not get cocky or overbearing about it. Sagan reminds us, but the fact that some geniuses were laughed at does not imply that all who are laughed at are geniuses. They laughed at Columbus, they laughed at Fulton, and they laughed at the Wright brothers, but they also laughed at Bozo the Clown. So once again, we use that power of inner wisdom to discern what is a brilliant idea and what is just plain crazy. Because we get brilliance and ideas and just plain crazy coming at us all the time. Here's something that really called to me because most of you know I'm a peacenik. The nuclear arms race is like two sworn enemies standing waist deep in gasoline, one with 3 matches, the other with 5. Isn't that exactly how absurd it is? Science, he says, is not only not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. And many of us feel that, especially as it relates to the natural sciences. You know, we're so connected through the trees and the animals. And Einstein found spirituality in mathematics. You know, a couple in closing that really resonate for me with our teaching. He said, man is the matter of the cosmos contemplating itself. And we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. And we hear that a lot in our teaching, that humanity, being human, having the human experience, is the way that God can experience that. You know, there's only one stuff. Finally, the notion that science and spirituality are somehow mutually exclusive does a disservice to both. Will you join me in a meditation? And I invite you to just relax in your chair, maybe unfold your arms and legs. If you're comfortable, allowing your eyes to close, or just a soft gaze. Being conscious of your breath, not trying to manipulate it or control it, just breathing. And knowing that all around you and within you, in every cell of your body, there is divinity and there is divine wisdom. It is always available, always responsive. So just for a moment, watch which thoughts come into your mind. Just watch and let them drift by. Not getting hooked, not having them mean anything, just thoughts. And imagine your mind opening up. To receive guidance from Spirit. And allow that guidance to permeate every cell of your body, to rest gently in your mind, knowing that it is always there when you turn your attention to it. Listen to the words that your higher self offers for your guidance. Those words are always words of love. And so it is.
Only believe all things are Nico.
You're welcome. That's a comfortable range down there. Okay, imagination. Maybe one of the greatest imaginative minds. George Gershwin apparently wrote this entire suite in 3 days. I'll play part of it. Not the way he wrote it either. I was gonna play a jazz gig last night, but I didn't get the gig, so I got jazz in my mind. So jazz.
rhapsodic.
You can't talk about Carl Sagan like that. Gets
No.
excited.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. That was amazing. So now I have some things you could do. Lots of things you can do around here. The first one is coming right up. There it is. So we're almost finished in the renovation, turning our garage into a state-of-the-art studio. Next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, you are welcome to come and put the finishing touches on it with us. Clean, bring your brooms and wall dusters and have some fun. Anytime after 8 o'clock, we'll be raring to go by then. And then on the Saturday after that, we're doing a deep cleaning on this building. The daycare is on hiatus for the summer break, and so we're coming in and we're just going to clean everything that hasn't been thoroughly cleaned for the last year and a half. So you're welcome 9 till 3. Rick's going to make us lunch on the barbecue. He might do the same thing on the 8th, or on the 10th if we're lucky. And if you're bringing cleaning supplies, please remember that we are on a septic system here. And the next thing you could do is Bridge the Divide Book Study Club. This is sponsored by Reverend Roxanne Buckle out of Ottawa and Cheryl Rogers from Kitchener. And the first book will be Indian Horse by Richard Wagamese. It's every second Thursday morning, and registration is not required. The link will be in your newsletter. And we really encourage everyone, because building, strengthening Indigenous relationships is a priority set by our board for this year, so please join us. Behind the scenes, I'm changing that till Tuesday nights from Monday, because Monday is choir, and I have to be in choir. So Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, just join in on Zoom. We'll update you on what's happening around here. You can ask questions. We can hear from the Victorian Comox people about what's going on there. And you know, if there's something that really moves you that's available, a teaching online or something, that's the place to share that with other people and make recommendations about that. And then after service today, as usual, Pat Clarkson will be online. You can just join in there and talk about what this morning's service was like for you, or any other things you want to talk about. And that's the same as always. Monday, a week tomorrow, August the 9th, 7 till 8:30, choir with Nico. We get to sing with this. No auditions. Anyone is welcome to come.
I'm practicing.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll see you there. And you want to help Kyle do it all. Thank you to Dave, who has come today. He's manning the camera. Thomas went down the rabbit hole a little bit last week when he announced about this. It sounded like Kyle was giving classes to train everybody to do all sorts of fancy stuff. No. He's going to train volunteers who are going to come and help him on Sunday morning. So that's what it is. He'll need maybe somebody to run the camera or to help him get the slides on time while he's doing all that other stuff. So we'd like to have 1 or 2 volunteers every week. So if that's something that calls to you, just let me know, and we'll either schedule a training, or Kyle can almost train you on the run. Just identify yourselves, and that will unfold perfectly.
Is there a phone number on that?
591-0775. That's me at the office.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wasn't sure about that.
Okay. Well, now we know.
Raise in hand.
Thank you. Comox Valley, they still have one more heartstorming session. That's next Sunday at noon with Diane and Heather at the Philbrook Lodge. So if you're living in the Comox area and you would like to, or Courtney, and like to have some input as to where that little pod of members lives, please do that. And as usual, I'm online on Facebook at 9 o'clock every morning, Monday till Saturday, with a brief 15-minute few words and a meditation. And Dawn and Margaret are alternating on Sundays at 10 o'clock. So our service for online people starts at 10 with a meditation, then a 15-minute prelude from Michael Drislane, and then we're on at 10:30. And So our gratitude this week is we now have a C team, which stands for Spiritual Enrichment and Activities Team from the Nanaimo area that consists of Ira Strong, who's an long-time member of Unity, Margaret Tiveron, who's a long-time member of Unity but relatively new to Nanaimo, and Jen Ripley Morris, who is one of our youngest members and the mother of those two beautiful children that come. So it's a great representation of who we are. So I want to thank them for stepping up to that. And thank you so much for your donations. So many people are turning to donations online, and that works very well for us. All the old ways still work. Some people have been trouble figuring out how to set up the donations online. They used to just have it go through on their MasterCard once a month. If you'd like to be able to set that up, just give me a call at the office and I can walk you through that. And our abundance affirmation, would you repeat with me? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Just take a moment to be grateful for the infinite supply of abundance that flows through our individual lives and through this center, providing all that is needed to do our work and more. And so it is. And if you would repeat with me the vision of Unity Worldwide Ministries, which is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our children's blessing today, and this is my great-grandson, Beowulf. We bless the children. We see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. And let's stand now for our prayer protection and the peace song.